Hello, Centralia. I'm Shane Lothar.
And I'm Rachel Roddy.
And this is Centralia On Air. Thank you so much for joining us. Last week on the show, we had Gayla Harding back in studio. Gayla came by to talk about Celebrate Centralia, which was yesterday. Hope everyone had a good time, huh?
Yeah, hope so.
Hey, speaking of Gayla, did you know the name Gayla is actually the 1601st most popular name in the United States? There are about 16,000 people named Gayla.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What about me? Do my name.
Do your name. Spell it for me.
R-A.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, my.
Oh, let's hear it.
You are not unique at all. Rachel is the 224th most popular name in the U.S. Remember, Gayla was like 1,600.
Yeah.
You're up in the 220s. With an estimated population of over 305,000 Rachels. That's a whole lot of Rachels.
That's a whole lot of Rachels.
Probably one too many.
What? Let's see how common you are, Shane. Oh, it looks like you are ranked as the 496th most popular name given in the United States. There are about 35 people named Shane for every 100,000 Americans.
So, the lesson learned is Gayla is a lot more unique than either one of us.
This is true. Oh, it says here, Shane is used as a boy name 98% of the time.
What?
You got a girl's name.
2%? That's barely anything.
Still counts. Shaniqua.
Shaniqua. Shut up. Anyways, that was last week. But this is this week.
That's right. On today's show, we have Dr. Ken Redcross on the phone with us. Dr. Redcross called in to talk about the flu season's do's and don'ts. All right, Dr. Ken Redcross, thank you so much for calling in to talk to us today. You are here to help us put together a game plan for the flu season. But before we start talking about the flu, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, sure. So I am a practicing internal medicine physician here in New York City. Actually, I'm what they call a concierge physician. I still make house calls. I give my number out and whatever information is necessary 24/7 to the patient. So it allows me to be very hands-on. So my practice is a little different. But once again, the important thing for me is the importance of the patient-doctor relationship or the patient-doctor bond.
And that's probably more important than it ever has been with things like WebMD and Wikipedia and people get nervous and Googling their symptoms and whatnot. They want someone that they can come to and they can trust, right?
No, you're absolutely right. It's funny. I wrote a book recently called Bond, the Four Cornerstones of a Lasting and Caring Relationship with Your Doctor. And in there, I talk about Dr. Google himself, or him or herself, right? Whoever Dr. Google is. And I talk about that. And that relationship with your physician is so important so that you feel like you don't have to go to Google. You can use Google. You can just pick up the phone and let your doctor get back to you.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. Flu season is probably quickly approaching, huh?
Oh, yes. In fact, we're talking about the flu season already kind of here in some places, right, where it's in October. Usually it's towards the end of October, but the point is it's here upon us. And I wanted to make sure that we touched upon some very important do's and don'ts, especially if you come down with those flu symptoms, which sometimes can happen no matter what we do throughout the season.
Okay, so day 1 and 2 of the do's and don'ts are no school, no work, call in sick, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So those are the don'ts. I don't want you to work, and I don't want you to send the kids to school even if they're feeling a little sick. And so what does sick look like when you're talking about the flu? We're talking about fever, body aches, chills. Those are some of the common symptoms. So I always let my adults know if you feel a little bit like you're coming down with something, then that's still a good enough reason not to go into work because your gut is probably right and that something is starting to develop inside.
First, how long does a typical flu last for someone?
Well, it really depends. It varies. Usually we say 3 to 7 days, and it depends on whether you're younger or whether you're older and your immune system is a little more compromised. But think about the flu for unfortunately hanging around for about 3 to 7 days, which is why it's so important as we touch on the things today to try to get out of harm's way a lot quicker and get better quicker. And so luckily there are a few things that we really need to make sure that we address, especially within that first 48-hour window. You asked about the first 2 days as far as the don'ts, but some of the do's, and probably the most important do, is to consider some things that are a little different and unique. One of them is a homeopathic remedy called oscillococcinum. Now, oscillococcinum is important because it's been shown to decrease the severity and the duration of flu-like symptoms when taken within that 24 to 48-hour window. Another reason why I have a lot of my patients take this is because they like the fact that it is non-drowsy and it doesn't interact with any of their other medications either, which is important, guys, when you have older patients who are on several other medications, that it's important that nothing interferes with that as well.
Dr. Redcross, when do you recommend talking to your doctor if you feel like you're having flu symptoms? Is it a waste of time and money to go in and see him, or is that a call worth having?
No, not at all. In fact, when you start to feel like anything is going on, you want to make sure you pick that phone up, because lots of times the doctor can let you know, hey, there are a few things over the counter that we can try to circumvent your symptoms. And then it's also important to make sure that you don't develop the complication of the flu, which tends to be pneumonia. And one of the reasons that you see so many deaths from the influenza is because of pneumonia. So it's important to be able to have that relationship with your doctor, to have this back and forth about whether you should come in and what you should do to make your symptoms much, much better.
Okay, so now we'll move on to days 3 and 4 of the do's and don'ts. So don'ts: don't run to your doctor seeking antibiotics because they don't work on a virus. This
exactly,
is so true.
Exactly. And this is the tough part, right, guys? Because now you have your symptoms. We've talked about what we should do in the first 48 hours, but now you're saying, gosh, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to my doc, and all I need is an antibiotic to fix this. And this is not the way it works. You're right. Antibiotics are only for bacteria, not for viruses. So don't get upset if your doctor says, we want you to do a few other things besides antibiotics. But what can we do? Well, when you go to see your doctor, they need to make sure they test you. Let's see if you have the flu or not. It's a simple test. It takes only about 10 to 15 minutes to get the results, and then that way we can know what we are dealing with. But there's also some lesser-known antiviral flu-fighting supplements that can make a big difference as well. So when I'm talking with patients, a lot of them come in to see me because they know we're going to talk about some more natural alternatives. And one of them is black elderberry extract. Now, you can get it whether it's in a tea or a liquid or a capsule form, but the point is that we know that elderberry can boost our immune system and also decrease the flu severity. There's also basil, which is really called holy basil. It's a natural expectorant, which can help us with some of the secretions that we develop over time as we become a little more congested. And then last but not least, another supplement that I talk to patients about is butterbur. Butterbur is an anti-inflammatory, and when we have inflammation in our bodies, we get sick, we get disease. And so these are some things that are kind of simple. We're talking day 3 or 4 to hopefully help this thing get away a little bit sooner and get our symptoms a lot better.
Now, I've been watching a lot of, we've been doing a Harry Potter marathon at home with my daughter, and
okay.
they drink a lot of butter beer, but that's not butterbur, is it? That's not the same thing, is it?
No, please, not. It's not the same, guys. Okay. I don't know if that butter beer helps with inflammation like butterbur does, but the point is, look, whatever it takes, we're just trying to make sure that people get well quicker.
These supplements, like the black elderberry and the butterbur, can someone get those at pretty much any drugstore or pharmacy?
Oh, yeah, good question. So everything that I've mentioned so far, so even when I mentioned the oscillococcinum earlier, as far as within that first 48 hours, yes, you can get it not only at just natural food stores, but a lot of the pharmacies carry them. The same for the elderberry, the butterbur, and the holy basil. Luckily, we're now living in a society where we're all becoming a little more natural-minded. I think we're all thinking a little bit closer to the earth. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you can get these at the neighborhood pharmacies and a lot of the natural food stores, too.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so moving on, days 5 through 7 of do's and don'ts. Don'ts, I didn't really think about this one, but getting rest but not lying down because it's harder on the lungs. So try sitting up.
Right. So, I mentioned this, guys, because as you come day 5 to 7, we're almost out of the woods, right? Mm-hmm. But what typically happens is that you become a little, quote-unquote, for lack of a medical term, a little oozy. You have the runny nose, you have a little bit of chest congestion. So I hate for patients to lie flat because when those secretions pool, what happens all night? You toss and turn, you're coughing, you feel like you're gagging. So I have everyone kind of sit up a little bit if they can. And also to avoid alcohol. Sometimes you'll hear what's called a hot toddy, where you put like maybe a cap full of bourbon or something in tea to help you rest. And the thing is with that is that alcohol, while it can help with sleep initiation, it can lead to dehydration. And that's just the opposite of what we don't want at this point, right? So the do's at this time is 5 to 7 days out is making sure that we stay hydrated. So we can get hydrated, and I let everyone make their choice. I like coconut water, bone broth. There's some drinks out there that are electrolyte beverages that can be beneficial. But the point is, it's all about staying hydrated to feel better, especially at this particular stage where you can go backwards if you don't do some of the things that are important, and rest is one of the most important things out there.
Okay, what I'm hearing is days 5 through 7, really, really no butterbeer, huh?
No, you really want this beer, don't you?
Sounds like it.
Not in this case. I am sorry, not day 3 or 4, not day 5 or 7, and definitely not day 1 or 2. I am so sorry to deliver this news.
Maybe day 8.
Okay, so, ideally, that's what someone can expect, days 1 through 7 in most cases. But if I'm getting worse rather than better, especially after the first 3 or 4 days, what should someone do?
Yeah, and that's the importance once again, and that's why that relationship is important, because when you talk about the patient-doctor bond, this is the type of disease state where you just don't think about it. You blow it off. To your point, you're at day 3 or 4 or 5, and you're like, this is a really bad cold, I have a really bad fever. This is the reason why it's important to alert your physician, because we have to know to make sure you're not getting the complication of pneumonia or severe bronchitis, some of these things that can really lead to some serious problems. Last year, you guys may know, this was a very, very strong flu season, and that we had over 170 kids, unfortunately, pass away from the flu. So this year's flu strain looks like it may be similar to last year, so that should hopefully, and fingers crossed, make sure that our vaccine is a lot more effective than it was last year so that we can be ready. But in everything we're saying, doesn't matter, day 1 to day 7, you want to have that relationship with your doctor so you can say, look, is this a little bit more serious than you think, or should I do anything different, some of the natural things that I'm hearing about?
So now we're seeing that all over online. Don't kiss the babies. Are flu symptoms different for children?
They can be. For us, it's easy to say, I have the body aches, the chills, and I have a fever, but a small child can't tell you that. The child will typically have a fever and sometimes have a rash associated with it. When you look at a child, you'll also see that they're a little more listless. In other words, they're just not your child. They're very fatigued appearing. They're not eating. You can even have some babies who are crying, but you see no tears because they're so dehydrated. So, yeah, it's a little bit different this time of year when you're looking at flu symptoms from the adults down to the children.
Now, not everybody is going to get the flu every year. What are the odds that the average person will come down with the flu?
No, that's a great question, Shane. So, look, the statistics say it takes usually between 5 to 20% of people will get the flu. Now, it may not sound like a lot when someone says, I only have a 20% chance, but keep in mind that each and every year throughout the community, there may be up to 12 to 20 different strains of the flu. And you can also get it more than once in a season. So even though those numbers are around 5 to 20%, we still want to make sure that we're still hyper-vigilant this time of year especially.
Dr. Redcross, what are your thoughts on the flu shot? Is that more of a doctor-patient conversation, or do you recommend it for everybody?
Well, and so I think this is the important thing. So the flu shot or flu vaccine can be very controversial. I will tell you this. I am a Western-trained physician, but I have not always been a big fan of the flu shot either, for different reasons. You remember the H1N1 year, which was the swine flu, was a big deal, and the vaccine wasn't great. So even though I'm more on the natural side of healing, I do recognize that the flu vaccine does have some incredible benefits. Number one, while it wasn't perfect, the studies do show that it definitely makes the flu less severe. So if you have your vaccine and you do see the flu, you don't get as sick as if you don't. Another thing that gave me a little cause for concern, well, a big cause for concern, is when I mentioned that so many of those children passed away last year, up to 80% of them didn't have their flu shot. So look, I think while it's not perfect, I think there is a place for it. And once again, there's certain people that we just know have to have their flu shot. Those who are cancer patients or those over the age of 65, those who have other comorbidities such as diabetes or heart failure. We know that they need their immune system protected. So once again, it's another discussion, like you mentioned, to have with your physician. But it's good to go in educated as to what the flu vaccine is and if it really fits your need.
Okay. So what are some things that we can do right now before the flu season really hits?
Well, so things that I think that are probably the most important is not only being educated on the signs and symptoms of the flu, but recognizing that hand washing is probably the number one thing that we really need to think about. Because when our hands aren't clean, we end up kind of inoculating ourselves. You know, you're going somewhere, you're on a bus, you're touching the rails, and then you rub your nose, you rub your eyes, you rub your mouth, and there you introduce it into yourself. And so that's why it's so important that when we say we try to start at the young age so the kids understand the importance, but it's us adults that also need to understand the importance of hand washing and also getting enough rest. See, a lot of people don't recognize that we're supposed to get over 7 hours of sleep each and every day, but sleep is so closely related to our immune system. And you'll recognize that one of those sleepless nights that you have, you may wake up the next morning with a runny nose or just not feeling yourself. It's because it only takes one night that your immune system can be affected by not getting enough rest. So, you know, those are some important things that you always want to think about, not only during flu season, but just in general.
Okay. So where can we get more information and tips, more tips about the flu, and a copy of your new book? Where can we find all that?
Oh, sure. So my website is drredcross.com. That's drredcross.com. My Twitter handle is @drredcross. My book, as I mentioned before, is called Bond, B-O-N-D. And I call it The Four Cornerstones of a Lasting and Caring Relationship, and it's available on Amazon. And lastly, if you're an Instagrammer, then once again, it's just Dr. Redcross.
Yeah, we follow you on Instagram.
Oh, great. Great.
Thank you so much for talking with us, Dr. Redcross. Anything else you'd like to add before you go?
No, well, first, I just want to once again thank you guys for having me on to talk about such an important topic. And I also want everyone out there to get educated on some of the things that we talked about today that are, once again, as I always say, guys, closer to the earth to make sure that we stay flu ready this particular time of year.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thank you for being with us today, and we hope to talk to you again sometime.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Take care and have a blessed day.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Shane and Rachel here. You're listening to Centralia On Air. Rachel, how's it going? What you been up to?
Where's one of your crazy questions?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just interested in how you been.
I'm good.
Uh-huh.
Fall-ish weather hit hard.
It sure did.
Wow, that was crazy. We went from 90 to 30.
Yeah, and 60 flat. I don't know.
So, yeah, I'm not ready. Wasn't ready.
Caught you by surprise.
Yeah, I should have been ready. Oh well, I'm gold. And you? What have you been up to? How you been? What are you doing?
I tell you what I've been doing. I've been busting out my long sleeves and sweaters and hoodies, just like you.
Well, sounds like you were ready.
Fall is officially, really, actually here this time. Which brings us to our hashtag Wednesday Wonders this week on Instagram, huh?
Yeah. Hashtag
What?
Wednesday Wonders.
What was it?
So if you're new to the show, just tuning in, our hashtag Wednesday Wonders. Every Wednesday, We post some questions, a poll. People choose one or the other. So this week we did fall themed, and all of them were yes.
These were yes or no's.
Yeah, we did yes or no.
We didn't make people pick, right?
Right. So the first one was like, do you go to a pumpkin patch?
Right. Majority of people said
Yes.
okay.
Bonfire. That was 100%.
Hello.
Hey, did you know that you can buy bonfire perfume on Amazon?
Did you know you can buy anything on Amazon? It's ridiculous. I think we need to do a
perfume?
segment
Yeah.
of weird things we can buy on Amazon.
Perfume that smells like a bonfire. So I told my sister-in-law about this.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, well, Rachel, that's not very surprising. She's like, you can buy a candle-scented bonfire.
Or bonfire scented candle.
Yeah.
That too.
Whatever.
I think it's probably because teenagers need to fool their parents. Bye, Mom, I'm going to the bonfire. And then they need to come back smelling like a bonfire, right?
So they... Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
I hate smelling like that.
It's not a great smell.
No. It's not bad when you're out there, but man, when you come in your house and you're like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, the next one was haunted house. People go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not me. I've been in one.
I've been in quite a few. Okay, hayride. Yes. So that kind of surprised me, though. I haven't been on hayride in a long time.
Yeah, right. Not since, like, junior high or something.
All right, scary movies. Now, this one was a close one, but it was still yes. And a Halloween party. Yes. Do you go to a Halloween party?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to this year.
You are?
Next weekend. I am in the band.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Parks and Rec. We've talked about this show before.
Yes.
Chris Pratt's character, Andy, is in a little band on that show.
Okay.
Called Mouse Rat.
Oh.
And we are going to do a Mouse Rat cover band at this Halloween party.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's next weekend, I think. So we'll see how that goes.
That's
I'll try
fun.
to take some video.
That'll be awesome.
Hopefully.
My parents have had a Halloween party with their friends for over 20 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, they've had this Halloween party
It's like
that
a
they
dynasty.
do every year.
No kids allowed?
Yeah, couldn't go until I was 21.
Wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. But my friends and I, when we were like 16 and started driving, we would sneak out there. And it's like back in the woods that they do this.
Okay.
Way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we'd sneak out there and like dress up and wear a mask or whatever. And we'd try to scare them. You know, walk up there and try to scare them.
Sure.
So there's only one place on this road. So they heard us coming down. So they would scatter when they heard the car coming down because they knew that we would do this.
Okay.
And they would go hide in the woods, and when we were walking up the trail trying to scare them, they scared us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then they told us to leave.
Yeah. Get out of here, kids.
But when I was 21, I got to stay. Enough of that Halloween party talk.
Yeah.
You know what time it is?
Looking at my watch here, it looks like it's...
Time for the top 5.
All Hallows Eve is quickly approaching. So before you get your pants scared off of you, Rachel and I are going to knock your socks off with our top 5 things you probably didn't know about Halloween. Number 1, the first jack-o'-lanterns were actually made from turnips, not pumpkins. Have you ever seen a turnip jack-o'-lantern? It's terrifying.
Right?
It looks like the little shrunken heads.
Yeah, I looked one up. It was the Irish that brought over the tradition of pumpkin carving, but there were no pumpkins in Ireland. They carved out turnips and put embers in them to ward off the evil spirits.
Yeah, these things are creepy looking even in the daylight. Ireland is like the birthplace of Halloween. A lot of our traditions come from there. I'm surprised they don't sell Kiss Me, I'm Irish shirts on Halloween instead of St. Patrick's Day.
Right. That's funny. All right, number 2. Halloween is actually the second highest grossing holiday right after Christmas. More candy is sold on October 28th than any other day of the year.
Guys, we're talking billions of dollars here. And much to my shock, some of that actually goes to candy corn. Ugh. Americans purchase over 20 million pounds of candy corn each year. Do you like that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my
A
gosh.
little. Here's how I like it. My mom always mixes it with like peanuts and M&Ms. So
Okay.
it's like peanuts, M&Ms, candy corn.
It's like a Halloween trail mix.
Yeah, I like that. You don't like candy corn?
No, I think it's disgusting.
Oh my.
I can't do it. I try to bite off the white bits to see if they taste any different than the orange bits.
No. A bonus thing you probably didn't know. October 30th is actually National Candy Corn Day. Maybe you should just try it again.
They gave that sorry excuse for a candy, a national holiday.
Oh my, you are serious about not liking this. Hey, you been eating candy? Any candy?
A little bit.
From the parade?
Oh gosh.
Did you get some candy?
Yeah, well, I had to throw away all the chocolate. It was melted.
Because it was 90.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're officially in candy season though.
Yeah.
Because somehow Lily will find a way to go to like 4 different trick-or-treat things over the next few weeks.
Heck yeah. Bring all that candy home.
Yeah.
My favorite are, I don't know what they're called, but they're the flavored Tootsie Rolls. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like fruit punch, the blue raspberry.
I like the pink one. Is that fruit punch?
It's like there's also a strawberry one too.
Maybe it's that one.
Those are so good.
Yeah, I came to those late in life. I always avoided them as a kid for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they'd be gross, but they're not.
Okay, moving on.
Well, if we're gonna talk real candy, or as our boss calls it, the good stuff,
Yeah.
the number one candy of choice is Snickers, followed by Reese's. Reese's? Reese's?
Reese's?
What do you say?
Reese's.
Is okay. Kit Kats, and then M&Ms. I'll be honest, I love all of these things. I could eat any of these things every day. You too?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I saw something on Facebook the other day that said, I gave you life, so you give me a Reese's. Is that what you say?
I could get behind that. Sounds like a good Lothar House rule. Mm-hmm. Okay,
They're allergic to Reese's. You're only allergic to this candy. We're sorry.
No.
That's what I would do.
You're listening to Centralia On Air with Shane and Rachel. Right now, we are giving you our top 5 things you probably didn't know about Halloween. Number 3, there are some pretty crazy Halloween laws out there.
Yeah, so if you live in Walnut Creek, California, you have to get a permit from the sheriff if you want to wear a mask or be disguised out in public.
Come on, Sheriff. It's California.
Isn't that crazy?
Everyone's wearing a mask, right? No one's got their real nose or their chin or eyebrows anymore. It's all fake.
Right, and
it's plastic.
They got so much makeup on.
People ain't getting permits for that.
And this is even worse. In Dublin, Georgia, if you're over 16, you aren't allowed on the streets if you are wearing a mask, sunglasses, or anything that conceals your identity. So much for a Halloween costume.
Yeah, there goes all your ideas.
Right? Like, can't paint your face, I'm guessing? Well, that's kind of like a mask, huh? I don't know. Sunglasses? What? No.
It's illegal to dress like a priest in Alabama. And there's no silly string in Hollywood 24 hours surrounding Halloween. Because the city is just tired of cleaning it up. Doggone it.
I love silly string.
I haven't played with it in a long time.
We should do that.
Let's get some for the X95.
Yeah, the trick or treat.
Yeah.
We'll spray some kids.
Yeah. They'll be like, trick or treat, and I'll be like, trick!
Oh, yeah, so Friday, if you're listening, Friday, October 26th, Shane and I and Matt and maybe Doug will all be standing outside, passing out Halloween candy.
Citywide, trick or treat, right?
Business trick or treat.
Yeah,
so all the
but come here first because
we have a cool bag.
We're going to give you the bag to collect all the candy from the rest of the town.
And like we said earlier, our boss loves the good candy.
It's the good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we gave away last year a big Hershey's bar.
Yeah.
Like full size. King size.
So line up at X95 station first.
Yeah. So last year we had over 180 some kids. Maybe more.
Okay.
So we want more.
Mm-hmm.
So bring your kids. Number 4 on our list of things you probably didn't know about Halloween. Let's talk cats. Kitty cats.
Right, meow, Rachel?
Right, meow.
You want to talk about cats, right, meow?
Right, meow.
Don't spin this around to some Mr. Bojangles or whatever his name is.
What? His name is Callaway.
Callaway, that's right. My bad.
Gosh.
I gotta remember that.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of animal shelters don't allow black cats to be adopted around Halloween for the fear that they may be tortured or sacrificed.
Yikes.
That's awful.
And probably true.
Probably true.
Cats have a permanent place in Halloween folklore. During the ancient celebration of Samhain, a precursor to Halloween, Druids, whatever those are, I thought that was a fake thing, Druids were said to throw cats into a fire, often trapped in wicker cages, as part of fortune-telling and divination attempts.
Oh my gosh.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Okay, so you know how we are always saying like a black cat when they cross your path is bad luck?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually the opposite in the UK. It's the white cats that are bad luck.
Interesting. Here's an idea.
Yeah.
Let's pack up all of our black cats, and they'll pack up all of their white cats. We'll stick them on a couple boats, and we'll just send them across the ocean to the other side. Right? And then
Yeah.
we'll problem solved.
Problem solved.
Although, I'm just thinking, a whole bunch of bad luck cats like that, the boats will probably end up meeting in the middle and crashing.
Oh my
Sinking.
gosh.
Hey, but problem solved though, right? There goes all the bad luck cats.
Poor cats. My cat's orange.
Yeah.
No bad luck in
Mr.
my
Snuggles is safe.
house. His name is
Callaway,
Callaway.
that's right. Callaway's safe for now.
Yeah. Till I kill him because he claws up my curtains right now.
Yeah. You gotta do something about that.
Yeah. When I spray him with water, he likes it. So it's
All
not
right,
working.
that's not punishment.
All right. Last but not least, number 5 on our list: trick or treat. Smell my feet.
Give me something good to eat. Where did this taking candy from strangers thing come from? I heard you're not supposed to do that. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
So what are we doing celebrating one time a year where it's encouraged?
Well, it's kind of a mix of different traditions. Part of it comes from the ancient Celtic tradition of putting out treats and food to appease the spirits who roam the streets during the end of the Celtic calendar year.
Another influence is something called souling. Never heard of this before, which was a medieval Christian precursor to Hallows Eve. On Hallowmas, November 1st, the poor would go door to door offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes. You know what a soul cake is?
No.
Me neither. It's just a cake you bake, you put your heart and soul into it, I guess.
Don't you always do that?
I've tasted some cakes that I don't think so.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. The first known mention of trick-or-treating in print in North America occurred in 1927 in Alberta, Canada. Nowadays, it's not about going door to door anymore. People do the downtown trick-or-treats, or even more recent, the trunk-or-treats.
Trunk-or-treats.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Well, a lot of churches do the trunk-or-treats, right? Mm-hmm. I gotta say, last year we actually participated in a trunk-or-treat. Now, if you're not in it getting candy, you're the trunk, right? You're the parked car. Mm-hmm. Well, we decorated. A lot of people decorate the car. We have a blue car, a very blue car, like royal blue, real true blue, right? And Jessica, my wife, found. Probably it was a Pinterest idea of dressing up an opened trunk of a blue car as Cookie Monster's mouth.
Oh my gosh, that's
and
good.
And it was too freaking cute. It turned out so good.
That's awesome.
It was like the opposite of a Pinterest fail. It was like a Pinterest win. It was a pinwin. Hashtag
on.
pinwin.
Those don't come around very often.
I know, right? I'll post a picture up on our Facebook, on our Centralia On Air event page.
Yes.
You guys see this? Too cute.
That's awesome.
I'm cut out the cookies.
I bet you did. Okay, so how do you feel about that? What do you think of it? Trunk or treat?
Well, I just I feel like the stigma is just you don't go around trick-or-treating in a neighborhood anymore.
Yeah.
There's just too many.
So there's some pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
It's safer.
Sure.
And
it's boringer.
Yeah. Yeah. A con was more like people, like kids aren't going up to a door and saying trick or treat. They just walk by the car and I'm sure open the bag.
Oh my gosh, nobody says trick or treat anymore.
Right. So I give away candy at my house. I had over 100 kids last year.
You counted them? You psycho?
Yeah, so I made goodie bags for all of them.
Oh, so you knew exactly how
I knew
many.
how many I had.
That makes sense.
This year, it's 3 days before my wedding, so not sure I'll do that or not.
Happening. All right, that's our list of things you probably didn't know about Halloween. I look forward to doing another one of these next year, if they haven't kicked us off the air, right?
Don't get your hopes up.
Okay. There was a lot of stuff we left out, so we could definitely do another one of these next year.
You're listening to Centralia On Air with Shane and Rachel. Up next, we got the community calendar. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Centralia On Air with Shane and Rachel. Here's a look at your community calendar. You are invited to Rock with Elvis at Centralia Manor on Thursday, October 18th. Elvis will take the stage at 6. Please RSVP by calling 533-2400.
Centralia Dog Park grand opening on Saturday, October 20th at 11 a.m. This park is on the northwest corner of the old Evers football field.
Fall book sale at Centralia Regional Library on Saturday, October 20th from 10 a.m. to 4. Bring your own bag and fill it for only $5.
Family Fun Day benefit for Oliver Myers on Sunday, October 21st from noon to 7 at the Centralia Moose. Food, silent auction, laser tag, and so much more. Wristbands will be $20 or $5 for 6 tickets.
Heritage Woods of Benton is hosting a fall festival on Saturday, October 27th from 2 to 4. There will be games, bounce house, and costume contests will start at 3.
Friday, October 26th, stop by X95 and many other businesses around town for Business Trick or Treat from 4 to 6 p.m.
Centralia Halloween Parade and Fall Fest will be held on Saturday, October 27th. The Fall Fest will start at 9 a.m. downtown. It will feature craft fair, free kids games, chili cook-off, car show, and much more. At 11 a.m., the Children's Halloween Parade will take place, and then at 7 p.m., the 92nd Annual Centralia Halloween Parade will start.
St. Mary's School is hosting a turkey bingo and vendor fair on Sunday, November 4th. Doors will open at 11 a.m. for lunch, and bingo will start at 1.
And a look at your local area blood drives. Thursday, October 18th at Carlisle High School from 11:30 to 5:30. Friday, October 19th at Salem Community High School from 8:30 to 2. And Thursday, November 1st at Centralia High School from 8:15 to 1:45. And that's a look at your community calendar on X95 and the Big 1210. If you have an event you would like to share with us, you can email wiley1210@gmail.com. Or for more information about these events and others, check out our website at x95radio.com.
That's it for this week. If you want to comment on anything, hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at X95 Radio. If you like what you heard today, come back next Sunday at 11 on X95 and the Big 1210. You can also find past shows on YouTube.
And for our X95 listeners, be sure to check out Open House Party tonight at 6 and Slow Jam starting at 11.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, she's Rachel Roddy.
And he's Shane Lothar.
And this was Centralia On Air.